Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited to be with you once again for another episode of Cinecut. Now, it is pretty late, and I'm slightly a little bit tired, but I just wanted to quickly jump on and create this video to show anybody that's new to the A7 lineup of cameras how to customize all of your C buttons, your custom buttons on the A7 Mark IV. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Woo! So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each one of the buttons that I specifically programmed and customized for video and then for photography. And you can tweak them, add them, change them to your liking. But this is just going to give you a good idea of how to set up things so you can be really efficient, really quick, and it'll be really easy without jumping deep into the menu systems when you're on a shoot. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have to jump down to the setup tab. So the setup tab is actually the last tab that's in the menu area. And under the setup tab, we want to go to page number 3 that says operation and customize. So when we go into this option, you have a few different options under this. What we're going to be focusing on is the custom key dial set for video. So we're going to go into the video custom settings, and we start out with the rear area. Now, when you're dealing with the rear buttons, there are 5 different options. There's the ALE button, there is the AF on button, there is the custom button 1, custom button 3, and custom button 4 that's in this rear set. So under option number 1, the ALE button, I changed this from another setting to the APC crop mode because this is right where my thumb is, and it allows me to really just jump right in and out of being able to punch in and crop into Super 35 mode and then jump back out to full frame mode. The second option is the AF on button. You can program it so that when you press down on the button, it automatically goes into continuous autofocusing mode, and then when you release, it stops and it goes back into manual mode, which is convenient depending on the situation you're in. Or what you can do is you could set it up like I set it up, where I actually used it as a on-off switch for my autofocus. So if I don't want to have autofocus and I want to jump into manual focus, I can press on it. It automatically will now be manual focus. When I press on it again, it'll go back to autofocus. Now, the third option that we have is custom button number 1. Now, when I was using my A7 Mark III, what I used to use this button for, this custom 1 button for, was for focus peaking. So I just put focus peaking back on there because I still like using focus peaking. I think that is still a very viable option, a very usable option. Now, going to option number 4, that is custom button number 3. I actually changed this to record frame rate. And the reason why is because oftentimes I'm in situations where I'm not just recording 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second or 60 frames. I want to be able to jump back and forth. Sometimes I don't want to have the same exact saved options that are in my recall buttons, nor do I want to do S&Q mode, because S&Q mode sometimes is restrictive in certain capacities. So this just allows me to switch my frame rates really, really quickly. Now, my 5th option, which is custom button number 4, allows me to magnify or zoom in using digital zoom. Now, this is not for recording use. This is just to check critical focus. Now, if we go to rear number 2, we have 5 options as well. So this is all about the wheel, the button wheel or option wheel at the back of our camera body. So I left all of the first 3 options pretty standard. I just left them as follow custom. So and the reason for that is because honestly, I'm used to the display mode, I'm used to the drive mode, I'm used to a lot of these options already being very effective, especially when I'm shooting either video or photo. So I didn't really want to change that. The only thing I wanted to change or reconfirm is changing or making sure that the ISO is the right button on the wheel. I just like that, and it works really well for me. Here we go to the top page, or the top options. So there are two options here. We have the movie button, and then we have custom 2. Now, under the movie button, I kept it as is. I love where the movie button is. It is super convenient. It works really well. It's very clicky, so you won't miss record any moments. Now, focus map is a new option within the A7 Mark IV line of cameras, and the thing I really like about it is that it kind of lets you see your critical focus, or check your critical focus in like 3D space. So if something is out of focus but it's in front of you, then it's going to be an orange. If it's critically out of focus and it's behind you, it's going to be the blue or bluish color. And then if it's in focus, it's just going to have no color associated at all. And it's actually really a cool sort of idea, because then it's really gonna allow you to be able to know when you're in critical focus. Now we're going to go to the lens page. So the lens page allows you to customize the buttons on each lens. Now for the G Master and the G series of lenses that Sony has, they have a circular button on the left hand side, and most people use that for critical focus, but I'm actually using this as a secondary movie shooting or record button. And the reason for this is because if I'm in front of the camera, or if for some reason I can't reach the other side of the camera where the record button is, then I have another option that I can hit right away as well with my left hand. So under option number 1, which is our front dial, I have programmed it or kept it to be aperture, because that's the most natural thing for me, and it's just really quick. Most people keep this front dial at aperture or the aperture settings, because that's just the most natural feeling thing. Now for the second option dial, which is our rear dial L, I changed this to audio. Now the reason why I set this or program this to my audio levels is because oftentimes in previous generations of this camera, I would have to jump into the menu settings while I was filming or recording to adjust my audio settings. I just wanted to have a dial that was devoted to that, that had nice sticky clicking options as I turned, so I knew how much I was turning it up or turning it down. So that's why I made it that dial. The dial right beside it, which is another secondary customized option, which is the rear dial R, or right side. I changed this or programmed this to shutter speed. And the reason why I programmed this dial to shutter speed is because it has that locking mechanism. So once I dial in my shutter to either double the speed of whatever I'm shooting at, I never have to worry about me bumping the dial, or for some reason the dial changing the settings, and now I ruined a whole bunch of slow motion footage because my dial was changed to a slightly slower shutter speed that won't allow me to actually extend or slow down my slow-mo footage, right? And then lastly, under the control wheel, I actually changed this from the levels, the volume levels button, to my Kelvin. I love to adjust my own white balance, because I feel like oftentimes if you leave it to the camera, there'll be a lot of color shifting throughout, especially if you're shooting video, and it's just a nightmare to try and color correct later on in post. So I just like having this smart wheel, this control wheel, to be able to control my Kelvin and my white balance really quickly. So those are my custom button settings. What are yours? What do you think? Do you have any objections to it? Did this video help you? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section below. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm making great content. I know that it's helping you. I hear it all the time when I'm talking to people or through the comment section. So definitely like this video if it was helpful to you, and share it with others, share it with your social media family. And until the next time, stay creative, stay positive, and stay blessed, and get some sleep because it's late. Peace.